I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how to stop messing around in your life and start to take your life more seriously. Start to become that person that you know you want to be, because the truth is that most people are really not becoming the people that they know they want to be. They know that they can be so much more. They know that they can really be more of who they prefer, but they hold themselves back because they're too scared. They're afraid of what other people are going to say, and they really don't allow themselves to just step into that role that they really want to be. And so in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to stop taking life like a joke. Not to remove the jokeness of life, because I really do believe that life is one big cosmic joke. I really do believe that life is just some play that we're all actors in. But how to do this more consciously, more intentfully, and more seriously, so that you can really be the person that you want to be and manifest the reality that you actually want. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell, because I do actually post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, all details for that will be down below. Now, the first thing that I want to share with you is to understand that what's really important to do that I think a lot of people just don't consider is that you have to think for yourself. You gotta think for yourself. Like, you gotta, at some point, be like, you know what? I gotta be an independent thinker. People are gonna have their opinions. People are gonna have their judgments. People are gonna have their perspectives. People are gonna tell you all sorts of things in terms of how you should be like them and how what they've already done is good. You know, a lot of people will say like, okay, just because this thing has been done in the past, it has to keep being done in that way. Personally, I very much so disagree with that. I very much so disagree with the belief system that just because something has already been done in the past, that it has to keep being done that way. I think that's a false belief. Why is it that just because something has already been done a certain way, that it has to keep being done in that way? Tell me why. Oftentimes, I think that the reason why people do this is because they're attached to the past. They're really attached to the past, and they believe that the similar and the known is something that they have to keep themselves stuck in. That, oh, just because something's already been done, I need to keep doing it again and again and again and again. But oftentimes there's more innovative ways to be in the world. There's better ways to be in the world. Ways that perhaps will take independent thinking. Ways that perhaps will require of you to think outside the box, to be something different, to be something new. To say, you know what, these opinions that people have, they're not wrong, they're not bad, but I can't keep doing what they're doing because I want to try something new. See, look at it like this. Slavery used to be completely normal. Now, if everybody around was like, okay, you know what, I'm just going to allow this to be, no, it would have kept happening. But somebody had to be like, you know what, I'm going to decide that this is not normal, that this is not okay. And they decided for themselves that they're going to be something else. They're going to decide to be something else. And if you really think about it, during that time of slavery, I don't know how it was personally. I don't know how that happened or what the reasons for that were in terms of why it happened. And I don't really know. I can't speak on conviction around how that happened, why it happened, and all sorts of things. But I'm willing to bet that at some point, somebody had to pioneer that situation and be like, you know what? I'm not okay with this. You know what I mean? Somebody had to be like, I'm not okay with this. I'm not going to stand for this any longer. And they had to use their voice. They had to speak up. They had to say, you know what? This is not okay. This is absolutely unacceptable. I'm not going to allow myself to allow other peoples to be slaves. And if a person had to be a slave, they had to stand up. Whoever it was, whether it was a slave itself or whether it was people around, somebody has to be the individual to then change the collective to say, you know what? This is not okay. This is not okay. People cannot just be slaves. People cannot just be slaves. Somebody had to think. Now, I want you to consider that during that time, again, I don't know for sure, but people were sitting there and they were like, oh yeah, this is just totally normal. Just slaves, people are slaving. It's just normal, it's just how it is. Think about that. That was normal. And if that was normal, somebody had to think about it. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that makes sense, but how is this connected to stop messing around and becoming the person that you want to be? It's absolutely connected, because in order for you to start to take your life seriously, you have to stop thinking like the masses. You have to stop doing what everybody's telling you. I'm not saying to not be humble enough to learn lessons from the people around you that have perhaps already gone a little bit further than you have. That's not what I'm saying. I like to always share two sides to everything. I like to share the side of one perspective and then the contrary side, so that you can make your own choices based on what you feel is right. But all I'm saying is that you gotta think for yourself. You gotta think for yourself. You gotta be like, you know what? I gotta think for myself. I gotta be the person that decides how my reality is gonna go. And I'm not gonna stand for any kind of negativity in my life. I'm not gonna stand for just the mediocre thing that the masses are doing. You gotta take responsibility of your life. You have to think for yourself. You gotta be an independent thinker. You gotta be an independent thinker, and you gotta say, you know what? I decide my thoughts. I decide my thinking. You choose your thoughts. You know, I really say this a lot, but I'm gonna say it again, and I'm gonna say it again, and I'm gonna say it again, and I'm gonna say it again. I think that in the spiritual community, a lot of people talk down to the mind. They talk down to discipline. They talk down to negativity. They talk down to taking control of the mind. I think that's immature to say that the mind should not be controlled. I think that anybody that doesn't want to take control of their mind, personally, I believe that that is an ego trap. That is a trap of the spiritual ego, where you believe that using your mind as the tool that it is somehow wrong, somehow egotistical, and somehow shouldn't be done. I so disagree with this. I disagree that the mind is bad. I disagree that the mind shouldn't be used. I disagree that affirmations are bad, that positive thinking is bad. If you tell yourself something enough times, it is going to become your reality. If you tell yourself you're the best at something, you're going to be the best at that thing, and there's no exceptions to that. When you tell yourself you're the best, when you tell yourself that you are the person for that situation, when you are the best at that thing, you're going to become the best at that thing. And part of the way to stop messing around in your life is to decide how you're going to think for yourself. How you are your own thinker. Not to be humble enough to take the opinions of others, to take constructive criticism, to learn from your mentors, to learn from the people around you, but you gotta be not so humble where you're distracted from your own inner guidance, from your own inner awareness, from your own inner calling. You have to think for yourself. So I want to ask you a question in this video. Where perhaps are you not thinking for yourself? Where perhaps are you not thinking independently? Where perhaps are you not thinking the thoughts that you want to think? Being the person that you want to be. Embodying that person that you want to be, regardless of what people are telling you around you. This is not about judgment. This is not about criticism. This is not about attacking others. That has nothing to do with this. This is about trusting your path and deciding that you need to think for yourself. Yes, take advice, but have discernment. So how to stop messing around and create the life that you want for yourself is to start to think for yourself. To start to think for yourself, to start to think in your own way, to start to think the thoughts that you want to think, to start to think that, you know what, I'm going to choose my thoughts. Now, the second thing that I want to share with you in this video is to be wise about your decisions. Be wise. You know, most people are making decisions left and right. I personally, in my past, made some absolutely horrible decisions because I didn't trust my own wisdom. You know, people are going to tell you that you need to make certain decisions. People are going to tell you that you got to go in this direction, or you got to do this, or you got to do that, or you got to go in this direction. Here's what you should do. Here's what you should do. Telling you what to do, telling you what to do, telling you what to do. And I know that sounds like I'm coming from a place of being angry or resentful. I'm not. I forgive anything that happened in my past. I forgive anybody that I allowed to manipulate and control me. See, and notice how I say it in that way, because the truth is that I don't blame others ever. I don't blame. I think blaming is a game that you don't want to play. You don't want to play that game. You want to be always coming from the perspective of, you know what? Anything that has ever happened to me, I chose to put myself there. Now, is that the actual truth? Let's not go down that far. Okay, let's not talk about philosophy. Let's not make it a debate. Let's not turn this into a debate or a philosophy. Let's make this video as practical as possible. And let's talk about the fact that if there's some negative situation that happened in your life, did it happen to you? Did it happen for you? I don't know. But you have a choice. At some point in your consciousness, you have a choice. How are you going to respond to what is happening to you? Okay, it already happened to you. It's the past, it's the future, whatever. It doesn't matter. But it's happening, or it already happened, and you're in a current emotional state. What can you do from that point? How can you move forward and empower yourself from that point? And this is about, what this means is that you got to be wise about the decisions that you make in this moment now. In this moment now. See, your past patterns are going to come up sometimes. You might notice yourself falling into the past. You might notice yourself, getting reactive or negative or some past emotions coming up. It's part of being human, okay? I try to not get stuck in those emotions as much as possible personally, but look, if it happens, it happens. And what am I gonna do from there? That's my choice. That's my choice. I don't blame people. And if I notice any tendency to blame somebody, I tell myself, you know what? This is just a past pattern where I believe I'm not in my power. I believe I'm not in my power. I'm wasting my time. Let's be honest. Complaining, judging, criticizing. That's what I'm talking about here. That's the messing around kind of energy. If you're wasting your time judging, complaining, criticizing, you could be using the energy as fuel towards your vision. Rather than projecting it outwards, you can pull it in, and then when you're ready, express it out into some beautiful creations, and then repeat that process over and over and over again. And that's the beautiful thing about life, is that you can choose what to do with your energy. So you can't control a lot of things in life. Some things are beyond your control. That's the truth of the situation here. Some things are beyond our control. And if you think you have control over everything, well then I think that to some degree that might be a delusion. But the one thing that's not a delusion is you controlling and manipulating your energy. Controlling your energy system and becoming a master of your energy system is absolutely something that I believe we all have powerful control over. Now, I'm not considering myself to be master by any means. I'm not saying that I'm a master at what I do or something, but I'm on the path to mastery, that's for sure. And I strive for excellence every single day. I strive to be better every single day. Despite what people around me are saying, despite my failures, despite certain things moving faster sometimes or moving slower sometimes. Like, I'll be honest, sometimes on this journey of creating what I want, some things happen faster, some things happen slower. But you know what? It doesn't change who I am. Every single day I show up and record these videos. Every single day I show up for who I say I am. Now, is there a day where maybe I don't show up for myself? Sure, that's fine. But I get right back on my feet. I get right back on my feet, and overall in my life, I am who I say I am. Sometimes I make mistakes. Sometimes I make failures. Sometimes I'm not who I say I am. But you know what? I jump back from that faster because my values in life are to live with integrity, are to live with honesty, are to live with truth. And how do you get to that point? Well, it starts with being wise about your decisions. You're going to be wise. You want to be taking risks in life. Absolutely, risks are powerful. Absolutely, you want to be taking risks. Absolutely, you want to be doing new things that you've never done before. But at the same time, though, you don't want to be stepping out into the unknown so much that now you've forgotten your intention. And look, sometimes it's okay to step into the unknown, you know, but you want to be wise. You want to be wise about who you are. You want to be wise about how you show up in the world. You want to be wise about how you are in the world. And this is the key to really mastering your life and stop messing around, is getting to the point where you're like, okay, you know what? I got to make choices. Inaction is actually inaction. Okay, inaction is action. If you choose to be in a stuck energy, if you choose, and a lot of people are not going to think this is a choice. A lot of people are going to disagree with this. They know it's not a choice. Francis, I'm stuck in my life because of this. Francis, this is the reason why I feel this way. Francis, this is the reason why I can't be who I want to be. Francis, this is why I am the way that I am. Francis, this is why. Blame, judge, criticize. This is why I can't be the person that I want to be. You need to stop this. You need to stop. You need to stop that immediately. Because what's happening is that you're giving away your power. You're giving away your consciousness. You're giving away your most valuable and precious asset that you have in your life, which is your power, your mind. A lot of people in the spiritual community talk about, oh, don't use the mind. And don't. I disagree. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I know how that sounds. That sounded really resentful and angry. Well, then maybe if you want to see me in that way, then that's fine. But I really disagree with the fact that the mind should not be used powerfully. I think that the mind is something that we need to use, okay? And part of doing that is learning to be wise. Learning to say, you know what? I'm going to be wise about how I show up in the world. I'm not just going to make decisions that don't feel right to me. I'm not just going to make, if it doesn't feel right to you, then why are you making that choice? Because somebody told you it's the right path? Why? Who told you? Why are you listening to them if you don't feel that it's right? If something doesn't feel right to you, why are you doing it? If you're not doing what you love every single day, then why are you doing that? Why are you doing what you don't want to be doing every single day? Why? And who are you blaming? Because the thing is that people want to blame, people want to judge, People want to criticize, but why are you blaming? You got to take responsibility over your state of consciousness and how you show up in the world and the type of person that you are. And there's no other way to say it. Sometimes in these videos, I feel like I try to sugarcoat things. And I mean, I try to make it like so I can be as relatable as possible to people. But there's just no other way to say it other than the way that I'm saying it. You need to take responsibility over your state of consciousness. You need to stop blaming people. You need to stop judging people. You need to stop looking at people as bad. You know why you're seeing them as bad? Because of you. You're the reason why you see people as bad. Because you're not taking care of yourself. If you're going out there like sending negative comments to people, noticing all the negative aspects of people, seeing people as all the bad parts of people, why are you doing that? Focus on yourself. You know what I mean? Focus on yourself. Why are you out there picking out all the bad things of negative people? Go focus on yourself, you know? Like for me personally, like the more that I focus on myself and become my greatest version, all I see is the best versions of people that can come out. And people really don't want to hear that. They want to say, I can already feel, like, I don't usually get these comments, but I can just somehow like feel there's some people watching me thinking like, oh man, he's running away from his shadow. He's running away from his emotions. He's crazy. He's delusional. He's not seeing reality. Look, if I'm delusional, then so be it. Then so be it. I'd rather be delusional and helping myself and uplifting others, seeing the greatest versions of people that can come through, than picking at all the negative things in other people, judging them, and then me getting entangled in that kind of negative state where then I'm just getting pulled into their negativity and they're not even realizing that I'm doing it. And by that point, I won't even realize that I'm doing it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, what's the point of that? I'm just speaking facts here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just speaking facts. I'm just speaking straight facts right now. And if there's any person that disagrees or thinks that it's wrong, fine. I'm not here to control your decisions. I'm not here to make a choice for you. I'm just speaking the truth. I'm just speaking what I believe to be the truth in my experience. And so I believe that we need to be wise about our choices. We need to be wise about how we show up in the world and take responsibility over how we are. You gotta learn to be wise about the person that you are and who you want to be and how you want to show up. So if you feel like something's wrong, if you feel like something just like truly doesn't feel right to you, I would encourage you not to make that choice. Don't make that choice. If something truly is like off-putting to you, I believe there's a very deep reason for that, and I believe that it's your emotional guidance system telling you that something is wrong. Many people might disagree with that, but then there they are also making the choices that doesn't resonate for them, leading down to incredibly, usually, I don't want to sound too vulgar here, but I don't know how else to say it, foolish decisions that lead them down paths they don't want to be down. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't want to sugarcoat this video because I want it to be as raw and as real as possible. You got to learn to take responsibility. If something feels wrong, then stop doing it. Simple as that. It doesn't need to be more complicated. Stop doing the things you hate. Start doing more of what you love. Stop telling people yes when you want to tell them no. Stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. You're only hurting yourself. If you lie to somebody and you make a choice that you never wanted to make, you're hurting yourself and them. You're hurting yourself and them because you're agreeing to something that you don't want to do. And so you're selling your soul. You're giving away your precious life force, your life force. Your life force. You're giving it away to somebody that you don't even want to give it away to. That's a serious problem. And that's what I mean by messing around, is no more of that kind of behavior. No more behavior where you know you can be something more, but you're not. Because you're saying yes to things you don't want to say yes to. You're not valuing the people that are close to you. You're doing this, you're doing that. You need to stop. You need to stop this kind of behavior immediately. Because it's not a joke. It's not funny. It's a serious matter. I'm only smiling because of my own past decisions and how, I mean, in the bigger picture, it is kind of funny when you look at it. But in that kind of realm of like being stuck and reactive and blaming and judging, it's not funny at all. It's serious. And it's incredibly, I don't know how else to describe it other than creating your own personal hell and then judging others why they're involved when somehow you're doing that to yourself. And deep inside in your heart, you know it's all you. Deep inside, you know you're the one creating this misery. Like any time in my life where I felt like a victim, or I felt negative, or I felt like I was hurting myself, or where I felt like maybe there was pain inflicted upon me, or I felt like the circumstances were against me, or I felt like nothing was working, anytime that happened, I of course in that moment didn't want to take responsibility. But you know what's funny is like somewhere deep in my heart, somewhere deep in my soul, I knew for a fact like I'm causing this to some degree. Like I know that I'm doing this, but I did it anyways. And I told myself I'm aware that I'm doing it. It doesn't matter if I'm aware. You can be aware of something. Some people say like, oh, I'm aware that I'm doing it. It doesn't matter if you're aware. If you're aware and you're still doing it, you know you could be better. In a way, that's kind of worse. It's one thing to be ignorant of the fact that you're ignorant. But if you're ignorant of the fact that you're ignorant and you still continue this behavior, then that's a serious problem. That's not funny. And it doesn't make you any more righteous to be aware that you're doing it and then somehow call it spiritual. That's not spiritual. That's you know you can make a better choice to be something, but you're making the wrong choice anyways. There's nothing spiritual about that. That's the opposite of being in alignment with the law of nature, in harmony with life. If you want to be in harmony with life, you need to stop doing things that you know you shouldn't be doing and get back into alignment with who you truly want to be and who you know you want to be. Take the rightest action you can take. Look, we're all different places in our life. We all, how do I say it? We all have our own battles to fight. We're not perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm not saying that I'm better than you. We all have our own battles to fight. We all have our own past issues. We all have our own negativity. We all have our own shadow and all these things. Some people are, you could say, further along, but like, what does that even mean, further along? We're all just on different paths. You know what I mean? And so I'm not saying that these things are, like, I don't want it to be like comparing one person to another. I want to make it so that no matter where you are, just be wise. Take responsibility. Enough with the blaming, enough with the judging, enough with the self-created resistance. Like, come on, if you're watching this video, I promise you, you know for a fact that you are in control of your emotional state to some degree. I also have this part of me that feels like when I talk about emotional state control, when I talk about controlling your energy, I can just sense for freaking, I don't know how, I guess it's like one of those topics that's a little bit edgy, right? I just know for a fact some people are watching this video, they're not going to say it, or they will say it, I don't know, because I don't receive a lot of negative comments, but some people watch this video and they're like, oh, like, you know, that's crazy talk. How can you control your emotions? How can you not control your emotions? Well, it's just a mindset, isn't it? Isn't it just choosing to think in a particular direction, making the rightest choice that you know you can make, and then following through? That's emotional control. What is emotional control? Not doing the thing that you know is making you feel sluggish, making you feel negative, saying no to certain things, setting boundaries with things that you know are slugging you, or making you feel sluggish. That's what it is. When you stop doing the things that you know are not good for you, that's emotional control. That's emotional intelligence. Now, when you know something is bad for you, and then you do it, and then you call others crazy that are talking about emotional intelligence, who is really the crazy one? The person that knows they can be better, and then keeps participating in negative activities that they don't want to, hurting themselves, and then they call other people insane when they invite you to control your emotions and control your vibration, or however you want to say it. Look, I would say, I'm not here to judge anybody, but if anybody is insane at all, it's the person that keeps expecting different results. Now, another thing that I want to touch upon in this video really fast is that I'm not even encouraging that doing the same thing every single day in your life is a bad thing. I record a video almost every single day. I record a video pretty much every single day. I'm an extremely consistent person. If you look at my day, I do the exact same things very consistently overall. But the difference between me and what you could call an insane person that's doing the same things every single day, and by the way, I have another video coming out really, really soon on how doing the same thing over and over every single day is actually not insanity. It's not insanity, and I'm going to go a little bit deeper in terms of why I believe that. But what I'm sharing with you is that what I'm trying to share is that you can do the same thing in your life consistently, but first of all, there's a million different ways to do one thing. If you become a master at something, you can do it in so many different ways. You can do it in so many different ways. To me personally, it blows my mind how many different possibilities there are to do one thing when you commit your energy to one particular practice. Like if you want to become like a piano player, being a piano player and playing the piano every single day is not insane. I would say it's insane to be split your consciousness off in 15 different directions, doing the same kind of other things over and over and over, if that makes sense, expecting different results there. That's what it means to be insane and expecting different results. When you're doing 50 things at once, never dedicated to one thing, thinking that being split off forever is going to help you to somehow get one result, which it never will. You know what I mean? But when you decide, you know what, I'm going to commit to one thing, I'm going to remove my fear of missing out, I'm going to go in a particular direction consistently, you become less insane. You become very sane. In fact, I would say personally, sanity, the only way I can ever feel sane is if I'm disciplined, if I'm focused, and if I go in a particular direction. Now, nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. I'm just speaking straight facts. Nobody wants to hear this. Nobody wants to hear this. Everybody wants to hear, oh, just do what you feel like doing. Do whatever you want to do. Just trust your feelings. No, don't trust your feelings. Go be disciplined regardless of how you feel. And then you'll feel a lot better. Now, Francis, you sound like you're contradicting yourself when you say trust your emotional intelligence. Because emotional intelligence is only something that I believe a person can understand when they discipline themselves. It's the only way. And I'm not telling you anything that you don't know is the truth deep inside. Anything that I say in these videos, if it triggers you or if it doesn't resonate with you, fine. Investigate that. Trust that. Trust what you feel. But all I'm saying is that I believe every single person deep in their hearts knows for a fact that resistance and suffering is self-created. It's self-created and it can be changed. Now, what I want to conclude this video with really quickly is the understanding that you want to make sure, this is a very interesting point, I want you to consider this possibility that everything in life is a tool. Everything is a tool. And you can either allow tools to control you or you can control the tools. And I want to make it clear, this sounds egotistical, this sounds arrogant, oh, use things. No, I'm not saying to use things in the sense that you abuse things. I'm saying to use them consciously, with intent, with integrity, and with consciousness. For example, if you were to drink 30 liters of water right now and chug it down, and then you were to get sick from that, would you blame the water? Or would you blame your irresponsible use of the water? You know what I mean? And also, let's say you did drink 30 liters of water. I'm not saying that's a smart move to make, but perhaps, maybe there's a way, I'm not 30 liters, at least based on where we're at in society, but you know, if you were to drink lots of water, if you were to follow that up with like a workout, not 30 liters, but you know, if you were to over drink water, lemon water, well, why is it that one person could drink a certain amount of water and they could get sick? Another person can maybe drink that same water and then use it consciously, channel the energy in a different direction, and they're not going to get sick. One person drinks the same amount, and the other person drinks the same amount, and they don't get sick because they have a holistic, different relationship with the water. And so, what I'm trying to say, I know that's a silly example, but it's very powerful because what I'm saying here is that that's a simple example, but you would think that people would be conscious of this in any area, but oftentimes people will blame their family, they'll blame the thing, they'll blame this thing in their life, they'll blame this thing. But what they don't realize is it's usually never the thing. It's never the coach, it's never the mentor, it's never the family member, it's oftentimes never the thing. It's how you're